On July 19th, 2026, over 1 billion people will be watching as the greatest prize in world football is lifted at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. But here is what most people do not understand. Behind that singular moment lies the largest peacetime infrastructure mobilization this region has ever attempted. $33 billion in coordinated construction, emergency transit overhauls, a housing crisis threatening to unravel everything before the first whistle blows. This is not a story about football. This is a story about whether one of the most complex urban networks on Earth can transform itself in time to welcome the world. And the clock is already running out. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest single-sport event in human history. 48 nations, 104 matches, 16 cities across 3 countries. And sitting at the very heart of this continental spectacle is the New York-New Jersey metropolitan region, selected to host 8 matches including both semifinals and the championship final. An estimated 1.2 million visitors will flood into this corridor during the tournament, not for one night, not for a weekend, for 39 consecutive days of global attention, economic pressure, and logistical chaos. The projected economic impact stands at $3.3 billion. Over 26,000 jobs will be created. More than $432 million in state and local tax revenue will flow into government coffers. But those numbers mean nothing if the infrastructure fails. Let us begin where the world's eyes will eventually land. MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford was built in 2010 at a cost of $1.6 billion. It serves as the home of both the New York Giants and New York Jets. It has hosted Super Bowls, championship games, and concerts that drew hundreds of thousands. But it was never designed for football as the rest of the world knows it. American football fields measure 53.3 yards wide. FIFA requires a pitch measuring 75 by 115 yards. That 15-yard difference in width might sound minor. It is not. It means the existing stadium geometry physically cannot accommodate a regulation World Cup match. So what do you do when the most watched sporting event on the planet requires dimensions your venue cannot provide? You demolish part of your stadium and rebuild it from scratch. Swedish construction giant Skanska, the same company that originally built MetLife, is systematically demolishing 4 corners of existing precast concrete seating in the lower bowl. Workers are installing a revolutionary modular steel composite seating system with comprehensive mechanical, electrical, audio-visual, and plumbing adjustments. Exactly 1740 permanent seats are being removed to expand the field dimensions. But those seats are not being discarded. They are being rebuilt onto the modular base, designed to snap back into NFL configuration after the World Cup concludes. FIFA mandates that all World Cup matches be played on natural grass. MetLife has operated on artificial turf since its opening. The conversion process costs between $3 and $4 million, requiring advanced drainage systems, grow lights for turf cultivation, vacuum systems for heavy rain, and heating systems for grass growth during temperature drops. The company STRI, which served as FIFA's turf advisor during Qatar 2022, is overseeing this transformation. Now, if you are finding value in this deep dive into one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in American history, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We are working toward 10,000 subscribers, and your support helps us continue bringing these comprehensive explorations of the mega projects reshaping our world. Getting 82,500 people into MetLife Stadium is only half the equation. Getting them out, especially en masse after the final whistle, represents the true test of this region's preparedness. MetLife sits in the Meadowlands, not in the middle of a city. It has parking for only 28,000 vehicles. That means tens of thousands of international visitors will depend entirely on public transit to reach their destination. And the transit system serving this stadium has a troubled history with mega events. During the 2014 Super Bowl at MetLife, NJ Transit's failures were laid bare for the entire NFL world. Thousands of fans waited hours for trains. Overcrowding forced some spectators to remain in the stadium until more trains arrived. Emergency buses had to be deployed. The last fans were not picked up until 1 in the morning, 3 hours after the game ended. The agency cannot afford another failure on the world stage. NJ Transit is now finalizing plans to move 20,000 people per hour out of MetLife Stadium after each World Cup match. This represents double their usual capacity. The solution involves a newly constructed $100 million temporary bus terminal, with stalls for boarding and space for 80 buses. The Secaucus Meadowlands Transitway will transport people 7 miles between Secaucus Junction train station and MetLife Stadium, designed to move an additional 12,000 people per hour. The strategy borrows from the FIFA Club World Cup in July 2025, where NJ Transit moved approximately 21,000 fans without delays following the final match. That experience has been incorporated into the playbook for 2026. But NJ Transit is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. The PATH system, that century-old rapid transit network connecting New Jersey to Manhattan, is undergoing its most significant expansion in 25 years. The Port Authority has proposed a $45 billion capital plan, with $2.6 billion allocated specifically to PATH improvements. Starting mid-2026, all 4 PATH lines will operate 7 days a week for the first time in a generation. The Journal Square to 33rd Street line will double weekend trains. The Hoboken to World Trade Center line will increase to every 6 minutes during rush hour. Weekend service from Hoboken to World Trade Center returns for the first time since 2001. By March 2027, the Newark to World Trade Center line will run every 4 minutes during peak hours. Behind these increases lies years of infrastructure rehabilitation through the Path Forward program. The fleet has expanded by 20% with 72 new rail cars. Platforms now accommodate 9-car train sets, boosting capacity by 12%. To fund this, fares will increase 25 cents in summer 2026, with additional increases through 2029. For most of the world, New York does not begin in Manhattan. It begins at the airport. And right now, all 3 major airports are undergoing simultaneous transformations. At Newark Liberty International Airport, the centerpiece is the new $3.5 billion AirTrain. This 2.5-mile automated people mover is designed to handle 50,000 passengers daily, up from 33,000 today. 3 new stations will feature spacious platforms and intuitive signage. But here is the critical detail every World Cup visitor must understand. The new AirTrain will not be ready for 2026. Passenger service begins in 2030. For the World Cup, fans arriving at Newark will face construction zones, detours, and temporary traffic plans, not sleek new transit. JFK International Airport offers slightly better news. The new $9.5 billion Terminal 1 opens its first phase in mid-2026, timed precisely for the World Cup. That opening includes departure and arrival areas and 14 gates capable of receiving wide-body aircraft. Airlines including Turkish, Air New Zealand, Etihad, and Air China will call this facility home. Terminal 6 is rising as a $4.2 billion replacement, with first gates opening early 2026. So the 2026 experience becomes a split-screen moment. Parts of JFK feel like temporary corridors and construction logistics. Other parts feel like a reintroduced global gateway. That matters because the World Cup does not begin at kickoff. It begins at baggage claim. But even if visitors navigate the airport successfully, where will they sleep? New York has over 700 hotels and nearly 200,000 rooms. They typically run around 85% occupancy on normal nights. In September 2023, Local Law 18 wiped out most short-term rentals, dropping Airbnb listings by over 90%. Before that law, nearly 70% of listings were in outer boroughs. Now visitors are clustered in Manhattan, where average hotel rates have soared past $500 nightly. The 12-month average reached a record $320, more than double the national average. Meanwhile, thousands of existing hotel rooms are occupied for emergency housing. Now throw in 1.2 million extra fans during tournament month. A bill loosening rental restrictions could take effect in June, days before the World Cup begins. But opposition from hotel unions and tenant advocates remains fierce. Most fans will never step inside MetLife Stadium, but the experience must feel global anyway. From July 4th through 19th, Rockefeller Center becomes the official New York, New Jersey fan village. The iconic ice rink transforms into a vibrant football pitch surrounded by large screens for live broadcasts. Telemundo brings cultural celebrations and immersive fan experiences to the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Across the Hudson, Liberty State Park transforms into the official FIFA fan festival. With sweeping views of the Manhattan skyline, Ellis Island, and the Statue of Liberty, this waterfront venue will host match screenings, headline music performances, and interactive experiences throughout all 39 days of the tournament. Capacity reaches 45,000 spectators. Entry costs $10, a notable shift for an event many assumed would be free. For global television, these fan zones may end up being the face of the tournament. By the time the final goal is scored, much of the physical work will be done. MetLife's modular seating gets switched back. Fan villages get dismantled, but Newark's AirTrain remains a construction zone heading into 2030. The path upgrades, new bus lanes, and runway fixes remain. The housing questions persist. The real question: does this moment lead to a more resilient, better connected region, or does it become just another spike on the graph for infrastructure use, hotel rates, and collective exhaustion? Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody in an official capacity wants to admit. This region was already at capacity before the World Cup was awarded. The airports were overcrowded. The trains were delayed. The housing was unaffordable. The World Cup is not creating these problems. It is exposing them, forcing solutions that should have been implemented a decade ago. Whether those solutions work will be determined in real time, under the most intense scrutiny this region has ever faced. 1.2 million visitors, 39 days, $33 billion in infrastructure, 1 billion people watching. The world is coming whether the region is ready or not. Before you go, drop a comment below telling us which aspect of this infrastructure transformation surprises you most. Is it the stadium modifications, the transit overhaul, the housing crisis? We read every comment, and your engagement helps shape our future content. Thanks for watching.